That's why the Northern Buddhists and the Southern Buddhists principle and practice no difference. The main principal difference is method. Result, achievement, and practice, no difference. Whether it's in the southern countries of Asia, such as Thailand and Burma and Sri Lanka and all that stuff, or the northern forms of Buddhism, such as China, Korea, Japan, Tibet, whatever, is exactly the same in result. The aim is the same, the practice is the same, it's taught by the same teacher, and they're all authentic and valid. But the major difference is method. Northern Buddhists rely on bodhicitta and compassion to achieve the goal. And within Northern Buddhist sutra practices of Mahayana, they go one more step. With great compassion, they take the result of the path onto the path. Means although they're not a Buddha yet, they do the visualizations and practices of a Buddha to accomplish that. So it's even more quicker because they take the result onto the path. So within the northern forms of Buddhism, which arose from Buddha himself, people debate, but some people say Kalachakra started in 670 BC. Some people say it started in 900 BC. Some people say, when did Vajrayana appear? When did Hiruka appear? Where? Why? What? I want some historical evidence. There's no historical evidence before this practice, and I'll tell you why. And I quote from His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. By the way, so Tsem Stupid Rinpoche is not making this up, because those teachings are of a spiritual nature, given on an esoteric level to esoteric beings, and they are timeless, dimensionless, without form, without place. So, if Paris here achieves a very high level of bodhisattva, let's say 4th or 5th stage, and she can perceive the Buddhas directly. She can have visions of Tara, receive initiation from Tara or Vajrayana herself, and instructions and practice. And she can practice and achieve, and she has the results of that achievement. Then when she teaches, it will be a whole new lineage. So you say, where? What? She can't identify. She can't say it could be a cave somewhere. She doesn't know. She doesn't need to know. So practices of the tantric nature in Tibetan Buddhism, we do not hold time and date as important. And the reason is because they were taught on a very esoteric and subtle level. Sometimes it's mind and mind only. Mind and mind only. So they say, but how come the Buddha was in Rinpoche in south inside a large stupa giving Kalachakra, but at the same time he was in the north? When Buddha was teaching Kalachakra in Rinpoche, in the stupa down there, requested by the kings, he taught Kalachakra, along with that he taught Guya Samaja, and he taught Hiruka, simultaneously together. Some participants would get Hiruka, some participants would get Yamataka, some participants get Hiruka. Kalachakra, different. And to them, they will see the Buddha in that form. Why that form? Because that particular deity has something to do with the transformation of some delusion that is apt and strong and fitting for that group and that people in the future. So when he gives teachings on an esoteric level, it's like visions in Christianity. How do you prove visions? Or how do you disprove them? Joan of Arc, was she insane? Or did she do what she said she would do in the beginning of her visions? How about St. Francis of Assisi, who talked to angels? Who was compassionate and kind, and totally pious and gentle, and didn't hurt a dove or a fly, and lived on meager needs, and lived off the land, and traveled and showed by example the compassion of God. How can you deny his visions? If he's a mass serial killer and he runs around, I have visions from God, of course we know he's bananas because you have to look at the actions. Similarly, when the Buddhas manifest, and the Bodhisattvas manifest, and they manifest, sometimes you can't put a place or a time because they're on an esoteric level. A place that is timeless and dimensionless, your mind. And when we say Vajrayana appeared at this time, it is just a reckoning of one manifestation. Vajrayana has appeared in many manifestations, many times, many places, and many dimensions, and she will continue to appear. Why? As long as sentient beings suffer, her compassion has no end. And her skill to help has no end. So Lama sometimes says, hey, I had a vision about Vajrayana. He tells one of his students, and don't tell people, don't be a blabbermouth, he's humble. And that's why we changed this color, blah, 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 blah. And the students tells the whole world, well, it's not Lama Tsongkhapa's fault. And Lama Tsongkhapa having visions about divinity, would you doubt? I wouldn't. Dalai Lama says he had a dream, I had a vision of chanting. He told me that I have to start giving these teachings that help. Okay. Oh, guess what? Tsem Rinpoche had a vision of Manjushri. Everybody falls asleep. And why? You look at the actions of the person. Guess what? Saint Pew had a vision of Mahakala. You go, alright, you have a vision of Mahasumukala, whatever. It sounds like a joke, but you test the time of the person, their attainments, what they've accomplished, what they do, their logic, who they are, and their effort, and the result of their work, to inferentially decide whether what they say is true or not. Why? We do not have what it takes to decisively conclude. Simple. So either you don't believe in anything, or you use inferential logic to believe. At this point, until you attain higher points of meditation. Very clear, very precise, very logical. So Guru devotion is a very extremely powerful practice, and it's very much focused on Northern Buddhism because it's part of the method top. It's not as much focused as in Southern Buddhism, because in Southern Buddhism, their focus in meditation is not so, the method is not as quick, although the method is valid and excellent, it's not as quick. So like that, you hear about very great masters of the North, psychic abilities, the rainbow body, they can stay in meditation for days during death. They can control the weather, they can control spirits, they can read your minds. You hear about that all the time in Northern form Buddhism from the great lamas and masters and teachers. Why is that? Is it because the people up there are better? No. The method is extremely efficient. And the method is based on Guru devotion, compassion, and bodhicitta. When you have bodhicitta, you accomplish more because the goal and the point of the goal is more. If you're going to help 1,000 people or you help one, of course the person that helps 1,000 has a bigger reputation. Similarly, if you're going to practice Buddha to become enlightened for all sentient beings, it will be better than achieving enlightenment for yourself. So in Northern Buddhism, they focus more on achieving enlightenment for sentient beings. That's called bodhicitta. And they take time to develop that practice. Therefore, it's efficacious because of the method. And the method is to focus on sentient beings. And the label for that is bodhicitta. Therefore, since the goal is bigger and the method is very efficient, of course the results are faster. Again, Southern and Northern Buddhism, Hinayana and Mahayana, are both authentic and valid. And they both come from the faultless Buddha. But the difference in practice is method. And why is it different? Because for people who can practice a higher method, Buddha turned the wheel of the law for those beings. And those who practice a higher method, and they were extremely advanced, that became few, he turned the wheel of Vajrayana. And the teachings of Vajrayana contained in the great Idams I told you about were transferred and taught in very subtle forms to very few disciples. And some of the disciples Buddha taught were supernatural beings such as Nagas and gods and Devas, Yakshas and Rakshas. They weren't all just humans. And they go to their particular realms and they practice and they preserve the teachings for a while. Because how do they preserve it? Not just the text, they actually practice it. And they come back and they reintroduce it to another realm. Example, Nagarjuna received many texts on emptiness from the Nagas. He was well known for receiving teachings from the Nagas. Why? They preserved those teachings when the Buddha taught it, and when they degenerated in the human realm, they kept it in their realm, and they came back and offered it back to Nagarjuna. You always see Natanka Naga offering it. Why not? Why is that not possible? Why? Why is it not possible? Because we cannot see these beings. Thousands and millions of people report seeing ghosts. One doesn't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So teachings of that nature. Just like Guru Rinpoche was famous for leading dharmas in Tibet, teachings associated with the body, speech, and mind, hidden in rocks, in mountains, in trees, in shrubs, in areas. And high lamas will go to that area, have vision, and they'll have people dig and dig, and they find what has been hidden. Or sometimes it's nothing physical hidden. It is a mind transfer, which means at a certain location, it's a mind dharma. So what happens is, a mind dharma is something that's not physical, not written, not a statue, not an image. It is the power of the Guru Rinpoche's mind that's hidden, that teaching that's hidden in that place. And when the right person comes, they receive an oral transmission immediately. They hear it singing it to them, they hear a being telling them, or they can have visions of Guru Rinpoche at that time, transferring and giving them initiation, and the lineage starts. In the Nyingma teachings, the very sacred and very holy Nyingma teachings, many of their lineage starts from a terma. You can't even validate a time or anything. They have many practices like that. Amitais for the consort arose from their practice of the Nyingma sect, from dharmas, that Guru Rinpoche hid for the time to come in the future that we need it. It's like a mother hiding some wealth away during a war, and then 20 years later she tells you, there, let's go find it. Okay, you need it now. Yes. Don't underestimate the ability of the enlightened mind and the methods they can manifest to benefit us, which is beyond your comprehension. Beyond. And if you limit them, they can't be that, you limit them. When you limit them, you limit yourself. Because why do you limit yourself? When you become a Buddha, you have limits. How can a Buddha have limits? Illogical. So don't underestimate. Never underestimate.